Good afternoon, Off the Bench Sports family. We are here live, Airline High School, Bossier, Louisiana. Joining us right now is Hall of Famer. Man, he got so many accomplishments, man. Like the list is on and on and on and on. First and foremost, nine-time state champion. He's done everything, man. He's coached some of the very best players that high school basketball has had to offer. Charles Smith, ladies and gentlemen. What's up, Coach? How you doing?
Everything's great, man. Everything's great.
Man, I've been watching from afar forever, man. You generally are just, if it's a game being played, you're dressed. Today you're dressed down. I'm like, I feel like a fish out of water because normally you're just sharp, and so you're in comfort mode today. Right. How's it going?
Doing great. This is summer ball, so I tend to let my hair down. But, you know, this is a great experience for my young guys. We get a chance to go around the state in the summer and play basketball. Give them a chance to work on their game. Give me a chance as a coach to see who can do and who can't do, and who I can put in charge of my team. And I think some guys stepped up in our game today.
You guys today, man, I'm just saying, hell of a win.
Thank you.
Like,
thank
you guys forced the overtime, then sudden death overtime. In a minute and 30 seconds, you get a win. I think it was 33 seconds left on the clock when
correct.
It was over with.
Correct.
Big time. I don't know the kid's names, but number 15, Clutch.
McClain.
Tell us a little bit about what you lost last year.
Okay.
And I'm not going to bring up the situation that happened because that's irrelevant. Right. But what do you guys have to do to be the Peabody of old?
Well, you know, we won state championship 2 years ago.
Right.
And on that team, I had 7 seniors. So last year I had a lot of inexperienced guys. First year players, I had 5 freshmen that I brought in. And unfortunately, 1 or 2 of those guys lived out of zone, but that's irrelevant now. But what we're trying to do now is put our team together for next year. Last summer, we did not have any summer ball because of COVID. So, and the teams that I put on the court last year was not a typical Peabody team. So this year with the summer, we were able to come in and work on some things. And really, as a coach, what you need to do is figure out your system and if the guys can fit into your system. If not, then you have to adjust your system. So this is what we're doing. And I have to give all the credit to my son. I put him in charge of the offense and I handle the defense. And, you know, we tend to work together. So this year, the guys that you saw out there today, they played very, very little last year. Number 15 and number 1 very seldom got on the court last year.
That's unimaginable the way they played today.
But, you know, we get all of that done in practice, and then tradition plays a lot. When these guys put on that green uniform, they know that they have to step their game up, and they try to carry on the tradition. As you said earlier, I've had some great basketball players, all the way from Eric Hayward, who played at UConn with the great Ray Allen. His little brother, Charles Hayward, who unfortunately passed away with leukemia, was one of the top freshmen in the country at UNC Charlotte. And, of course, my son played at UNC Charlotte. Also, I had the opportunity to coach Paul Thompson, who played for Tulane and eventually went on and played for the Cleveland Cavaliers. And then after that, the latest player I had was Markel Brown. Markel Brown won 2 state championships at Peabody, went on to Oklahoma State, played for Coach Butch Pierre, which is a longtime friend of mine, up at Oklahoma State.
And a Louisiana.
That's right. That's right. That's correct. That's
played
correct.
At St. Amant High
School. and one of the nicest guys you can meet.
Yes.
And Markel played there at Oklahoma State, was drafted by the Brooklyn Nets in the 2nd round. Played 2 years for the Nets and was traded, and he ended up with the Houston Rockets. That was before, you know, they signed Harden and all those guys. So now he's playing overseas in Israel.
Hey, you know, at the end of the day, getting the opportunity to go compete against the best players in the world,
that's right.
That's all that matters.
That's
right?
correct. That's correct.
Like, he's still playing professionally, so he's made the most of his opportunity, and we're trying to just showcase that talent throughout the state, man, because that's what we got. We got a lot of guys that have uber talent, and it's our job to help them get there.
That's right. You're exactly right.
Watch this. You ready?
Right.
What has kept you in the game for 40 years?
That's a very good question. Number one is, you know, I have a passion for the game. I have a passion for my guys. And when I say that, I mean that I have a passion for taking these boys out of middle school. And you know, most of the middle schools do not produce in Louisiana top-level players. Right. So I have to take these guys as freshmen and then bring them along for 4 years. And as you see out there today, I have to bring those guys along where they be able to compete in high school. And then also get them to a level where they can play college basketball. So I still have that burning desire to do that. And I think that that's what have kept me going. Not the winning, although I've won 1,000 games. Currently, I'm the winningest coach in the state of Louisiana. But I could not have done that if I wasn't able to get these young men to perform at the level that they have.
Coach, you said I've only won 1,000 games. Like, people winning 1,000 games every year. Man, everybody like. Humility is a great honor, man, and you have a ton of it. Like, people aren't winning 1,000 games every year, Coach. Like, like that feat isn't happening every 3 years or so. Correct. Like, it's a journey.
That's right. That's right.
You being a veteran coach, you go back. You know, again, you got 40+ years under your belt. Who'd you learn from? Who'd you get? Well, what coaches have affected you to affect kids today? To
be honest, I came in under two great guys. I started out with a guy named George White, my first 2 years coaching high school ball, and he was a great X and O guy. I transferred from Pineville High School over to Peabody High School, and I got an even greater coach, Ernest Bowman. Ernest Bowman was not only an X and O guy, but he was also an academic guy. Matter of fact, we both taught mathematics, trig and pre-calculus. That's what I teach now. I love that too. I love teaching.
You're in the classroom as well?
That's correct. I teach
and producing a great product.
And I like to think I produce a great product in the classroom. Yes, I teach 3 classes a day, advanced math and pre-calculus. And I enjoy doing that. Most of my students go off to college and they're very successful in math. They either go into engineering or they become math teachers. One of my great players who played at Rice University, Rasheed Smith, is currently teaching math and coaching basketball up in Chicago.
Wow. Awesome. I want you to expand a little bit about what it takes for, you said that tradition is what keeps you guys going. How much goes into every year these young men that you guys mentor and tutor and give all these great life things to? How much goes into you guys teaching them about the tradition that has been built at Peabody?
Well, to be honest with you, since we built the tradition at Peabody, the plus that we have are the former players. They come back.
Right.
They come back and they give back. They go to colleges. Currently, I have 10 guys playing college basketball. And they come back and they show these guys what they have learned, and what they've learned at Peabody has helped them to get to that level. And once they get to the next level, the more information that they pick up, they bring it back and they share it with these guys. So I think that that's what have helped me over the years. Guys like Paul Thompson, which was our first NBA player, he would come back in the summer and he would work with our guys, show him what he learned in college and what he was picked up in the NBA. And of course, Markel Brown, he has a camp. He puts on a camp every summer for the young kids. And he comes back and he talk and work with these guys, And so those are the things that have really helped me to carry on the tradition at Peabody.
Again, as I stated earlier, I've always had a great respect for you, a great fondness. I think it was my first year, 4 years ago, at Showdown at the Lake. You guys were in the middle of a game, and something happened, and you said, hey, take over. You grabbed the kid, You took him out of the gym, and you inserted discipline in the middle of a game. You don't see that very often. How do you get with having a strong discipline background? How do you get kids? Because sometimes kids don't want nor like discipline, especially in the middle of a game.
That's right.
How do you keep over and over and over getting kids to respect you, respect the game, and do what the hell you say?
Well, number one is, I'm glad you brought that up. I remember that incident very well. The young man wasn't playing well, and we were trying to give him instruction on what to do, and he totally just ignored us. So when we brought him out the game, he developed an attitude, and he started talking back to the coach. So I, instead of embarrassing him, or well, not embarrassing, but trying to correct him on the court, I took him outside. And I took him outside and I explained to him that it's more than basketball. We are trying to teach you guys how to be decent young men, number one. Right. And if you can do that, that carries you further than the basketball.
Right.
And believe it or not, that young man is now playing basketball at Angelina College.
Wow.
And he's one of the top players in that conference.
Amazing.
That's right. And I would also like to add this. Most of my guys that play for me are what they call at-risk kids. What that means is they don't have a father in the home. So I have to be a father for them. And they understand that. You know, most of our young black kids are being raised by mothers, you know, and they don't have that father figure. They don't even know how a man is supposed to really react in certain situations. So I try to show them that. And then I also try to show them that I put my arm around their shoulders and say, hey, look, man, I'm going to take you under my wing and I'm going to treat you just like my son.
Right,
you know, and they respect that. And they know that whatever I do for them is for their best.
How many kids have you coached in your 40-plus year career?
We average 15 players per team. And you figure over that 40 years, 15 times 40, because some of that overlaps.
Right.
So that's a lot of kids.
A lot of kids.
But I will say this though, out of those kids, very few of them have fallen through the cracks. Meaning that most of these kids have gone on, got college degrees, they've got good jobs and families, and they're doing quite well.
Coaching tree. How many coaches have came under the Charles Smith umbrella? Okay,
most of my guys, they basically go off and they don't come back to Alexandria. So, like I told you about the guy that's coaching up in Chicago.
Right.
I have another guy that played for me. He's coaching over in Dallas, Texas. So they tend to go or stay where they went to college.
Right.
You know, or they have some friends or relatives off. The only guy John Ford, who played at McNeese, he came back and worked with me at Peabody. And of course, my son, and also Coach Greg Knox. Greg Knox played basketball. Greg, let me give you something about Greg Knox. Greg Knox won a state championship for me. He won a junior college national championship at Pensacola. And then he came back to me and won a state championship as a high school coach. So that's a rarity in itself.
Right.
But they do come back. But most of my guys, they go into engineering. I got some lawyers. Matter of fact, Marcus Brown is he's the executive, what do they call that, EOC, for Integer.
Okay.
He's the second in line at Integer in New Orleans. His name is Marcus Brown.
That's awesome.
He's an attorney. He has 60 lawyers working for him.
Oh, that's cool.
Right.
That gotta be the coolest
Marcus
thing
Brown,
ever.
that's right.
So let me ask you this right here. You just said you just made a comment about what was that? I was thinking of a question and trying to remember
Go ahead.
what you said. I'm gonna come back to it because it's really interesting though. I'm guarantee you I'm gonna get back to it.
But the guys that played for me or coach?
No, it was before that.
Totally different. Okay.
Yeah. So in this process, right? We have all this longevity. What would you give to a young coach that's just starting out, that has no coaching experience? Because we got a few guys this year that's coming under the umbrella. Ladarian Williams, he just got hired at Terrebonne High School, first-time coach. Talk to Ladarian right now.
Okay, well, Ladarian, number one, I want to say this. If you are married, make sure that your wife is on board with what you're doing. And I've been blessed. My wife has been by my side my entire coaching career. Meaning that we raised 2 kids. My daughter is a doctor. She's Dr. Ross. She works at Southern University. And my son. So you got to be able to split the time. You can't put all of your time in the basketball. And that's why I think that's one of the mistakes that a lot of young coaches make.
Okay.
So, you know, you have to get a wife that's going to be compatible with you. My wife is at every game. And then during the summers, we vacation together, you know, and all that. So I spend time with my family, number 1.
Right.
Number 2 is, you got to be, like you say, you got to be humble. I look at most of the coaches now, they're always jumping on the referees. You know what I'm saying, jumping on the referees. They're always
complaining about the call.
Yes, they're always you know, the referees. I haven't seen a good one yet over my 50 years. and I'm saying that to say this: they're not going to make every call for me.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
And it's going to usually it'll balance out. You know, so be a little easy on the refs.
Right.
Don't get caught up with the refs. Coach your team.
Right. Coach your team.
And the referee's gonna make mistakes. They're gonna make some bad calls. They'll make some good calls. But it's gonna even out for you. So coach your team.
Right.
Okay. And then the third thing is you have to be able to put that time in.
Right.
I'm fortunate enough. I don't hunt. I don't fish. So 365 days out of the year, I'm working with my basketball team.
All right. We're gonna do rapid fire.
Okay.
I'm gonna say some names or some situations, and you give me your thoughts on it.
Okay.
Harvey Adger.
Great guy. We're longtime friends. Harvey and I go way back. Harvey brought his boys to my gym one time when he had Lester Earl, and he was showing them how to be champions. And he brought them by Peabody. He said, I want y'all to talk to this man, let him talk to you all, and show you what it takes to be a champion. I think they won 2 or 3 champions with Lester Earl.
All right, I'm going to go back a long way, back to the 80s. Guy that I really love was like a father to me, Herschel West.
Herschel West, man, one of the greatest basketball players in the state of Louisiana. Played basketball at Grambling. I used to go up there all the time and watch him play when he was at school. And his school is continuing on the tradition, Rayville. You know, so great guy. Great guy.
Colleges recruiting high school kids.
It's a little bit different now than what it was. When I first started coaching, they gave a 4-year full ride.
Right.
Then they came back with the 1-year renewable.
Right.
So it makes it a little bit harder. But I met some great coaches. I met Coach Cheney at Temple. He came down and was recruiting one of my guys. The coach at Arkansas, Coach, come on now.
I know what you're talking about. The
national champion.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about. Everybody know who you're talking about.
I met him, and he was a great guy. These guys and we ran across each other in the airport, and people just tend to just, hey, man, I know this guy, so we talk. So, great coaches, high school coaches. You know, we had coach from St. Aug, coached a long time. Yeah. My mind is getting a little bad on me now, but was a great coach. Coached for years at St. Aug, and produced some great players. And of course, everybody know the coach at Southern Lab. Yeah. You know, he was the winningest coach in Louisiana at one time.
Yeah, you got his spot.
I broke his record. But yes, I've had a chance to meet some of the greatest coaches in the country, really.
Okay, I went over my time that I told you I would be, and I apologize for that.
No problem.
But favorite player you ever coached?
My favorite player, I would say Paul Thompson, because he set the stage for the guys to follow him at Peabody. He set the bar so high that I was able to see as a coach what the kids in Alexandria could possibly achieve. Right.
Favorite player you coached against? Kid that you coached against that you said, damn, I want him.
Howard Carter.
Redemptorist, right?
Howard Carter, man. When I first saw Howard Carter, I could not believe he was in the 10th grade. I said, no, Howard Carter got to be a senior. But he was probably one of the greatest players that I've coached against.
You guys have another game, I think, up next.
Right, that's right.
So I'm going to get out of your hair while you let your hair down. Hey, it's not very, like, it's not very often. It's only a couple of times that I sweat, and I've been sweating so much during this interview. I might have to change shirts. Man, thank you, Coach Smith. It's an honor. You are more than a Louisiana legend. You know, you've done a lot of great things. You know, to me, it doesn't matter what anybody say about you. One of the greatest people I've ever met. Thank you for taking time. It's just 20 minutes.
Yeah, well, that's fine. That's fine.
20 good minutes, Coach. 20 good minutes. Remember, get off the bench, get into the game.